Stadium Padumfa kongure ekruche ama osemfo asemu no yede mu nchemu nya abram ye ka masaji fo bosome ne de taso makoma akudumi ensa wo fi champion mienu ene aduonu nsia ne bosome mienu mu ena yewe www.oriatv.com sa enso ena Owia TV official Facebook Owia TV official no so TikTok ena afi Owia TV enso ewo YouTube bomode na fo ni echemu aya subscribe sa wonyo ya na share na de ebe obetimi de wadwenkyere ene ade nyina ede ase ede amayen ewo ehonomo yenche wo kra no ensema yede somo ene anwumre de edi mu akote no ebi enese Ghana mampanyi John Dramani mama ejina Ethiopia Addis Ababa emode ato ebibiman anim se yankonkoden sane yebeya yebetimi aka emma ede abata ye ho ewo yade yo nyina mu
Ghana mampanyi abedi achiri Professor Nana Jane Opoku Ajimana enode atudwa se enche kra Emma wonu sika kra bia wo hye ho bono ebefiti ase na abatnase
edom kuma wo man Ghana mra hye bedwafie no ase se ebeye mprempren ya osofo we sika sam ensam so na afie kuko bodwum tani wo mepie mo man Ghana mra hye bedwafie mechensem mu
na opanye wono ene tua koko boda no ena wo kyese ekatwitwi die bia wonum ede nananum akuafo ene nkae hudu obi wo honom a wonum behwe na watua
Dr. Laji Mamudu Bomia ayenkane Ghana mampanyina bedi echi otu franka ede ama MPP wose efre bibi political tension Ghana mampanyi John Dramani mama wonhwe na wonyem
enipa bia na wonum edi Kennedy akompreko Japan wachi wa bra no wo prese wobetu franka ede ama MPP amanyuko na ekirese wontene ho na no ena mpanyimfo imu baako ede afutu amano
P ana eka we ho a ya ne sekase a yede ebesom modon reba akwimu a woni yen ena eyo ewo ho akenkanfo amobeti enka anwumre yi eyemme abusua pani ousu adiomi minim ni abema
Nana Kwame Ajiman Opambo
afei kase no enchemu Ghana mampanyi His Excellency John Dramani Mahama etia ne nachi na wakopie mu ewo Ethiopia wonum kro preference Addis Ababa na enumu ena ebibiman enkabomkuo awodo wonum eye nhyiamu ewo ho enumu no wagya ne namro so ama broni kan say high level breakfast meeting ana ekoso honomo na wogina simpie ni apaso a wode nsam ede atodwa ewiase nyina ewo aniswade hunu se anya hwe no no bedroom fin champion bi na duosia emiensa so no na eba no yadoyo a ye no wiase nyina amanyina mu na yetumi ama yenua no ma yaka wo mo ade aban ye ho a wo mo atwe yen ade apinyen e kan say gender equality ewo English potoka samu no na eno ode atodwa se eneye no se aman beye ye bibia betumpon na ne ma bekọ nkan a emma enso di mutintimai pa Oma yese priority abna etimi rewura ntokuro bia ni ntwodo ni ntwada so ewo fie monten etwitwi bonhwemu ema no eye fe na eye kamakama pa enu ntibra so ta abibiman yede ensiya ne nweta so eka ho ne yede hyemu na face ka wodo a yede bɔ ho bra no no so no ye hyemu kena na etimi aboa ama se ni suade hu etimi abam Ghana mampanyi John Dramani mama edito mpanyimfo anim se osusu sese ye ne saa na yema yenua no mai ebeke hen wo yade ye nyina mu a ebetimi aboa ama ni suade hu na wiase ntitiru ebibiman ye pe no eno so etimi akafua na awie peyo ewo honom
Africa cannot grow by leaving its women behind. And unless gender equality is embedded in macroeconomic planning, public finance, peace and security, our development will remain incomplete. Let us be candid. Despite decades of declarations, Africa's gender agenda remains chronically underfunded. Gender-responsive programs are often the first casualties of fiscal constraints. When we decide to implement austerity, gender-responsive programs are the first to suffer. Women's rights organizations are expected to deliver transformational outcomes with very minimal resources. The care economy sustained largely by African women remains invisible in our budgets. Efforts to prevent and respond to violence against women and girls are severely under-resourced. And girls' education, particularly beyond basic levels, continues to face persistent financing gaps. And yet the evidence is unequivocal. Gender equality makes economic sense. Investments in women raise productivity. They strengthen our resilience and they expand our economic growth. Every woman entrepreneur creates jobs. Every girl educated multiplies prosperity. And every barrier removed unleashes innovation. So the reality before us is simple. Africa cannot afford to leave more than half of its population behind, not if we're serious about building the Africa we want. Excellencies, our resolve is anchored in strong continental instruments.
Enunti na wasi ya meye ni ya deni ya miye ni bre sani ya beya ya beshemu kinani ya deni nami yoso ama ni ya metimi akonkan Ghana mampengini John Dramani Mahama Addis Ababa Ethiopia na wadin semi etuja
Ghana mampeni ya bedi ya Professor Nana Jane Poku Achimana enu wadi ya tu ejase endi semanyukuni bosha wadi ema Ghana 43 ni ema se won muba wabesi yesi zikakrabi ya surunkubi ya eno wadi ebebo ema ho brase de beya Emma subetimi enya sika na wode aso won madwadie ane won mudwumadie ahodo asni ma watu din se Women's Bank no ade se enche kurebe fiti ase na wonomo ade aye adwuma mampani abedi akire de sansimi tudwa wabra afia no nhia mudi etoso adusia enum wonomo ade hye so ani nyina ye se edwumfo ma no aya na afibi aso a wonomo ekohia na no anenam so a we no wokohia mu ewon kran na woto nsa Erefe mampani abedi akiri Professor Nana Jane Opoku Achiman emwodi na nimonyam ebeta adwumadie no achi na wokasa no ene wo chemu se wonmo ema no omunya akwadwofo de bierada ema ehia moa na wonmo atumi agina wonan so nunti ena aban no eyese wo ye na afamudie ede aboa se de be ya wetumi asoma asenim ewosikasemu na wonmo nso atumi agina wonmo nan so eno achi no sanso de afutu ema ma ne se ahonidie ade ahu hia ye papa pento besre miamia hodo a wonu digya no won hese abrebia eho bete kama ensembia mampani abedi akiri Professor Jinana Opoku Achiman ade tudwanie
President Papa B John Dramani Mahama Yes Papa Yes Papa say bro yeah mami before the M1 bank le yakọ omo boy binu na yemu binu ensu yeso enti ye yanko sisa ye de mayen osemase enule Women's Development Bank na ya na binu bisa so bank na che ese semra ba ya se ni so e ba nra nka mepe anamo bia wutu one tobo no into ye one said no me ya one hwe na nko ya ma se ye du akire pa na enye se nkwa na service ye se office na nkwa ni ni baby na yo to ade odum no no nka wa na ade no se se sen so no ti na wo ye ente so ba yo yesusu ekwa bi ofaso eye sika edisika samu enkobo wojanu no omu nyina mo kan eno akwa ye workshop enne super workshop ni ebewi 2-day workshop for Women's Development Bank and a finance officer so atiase ono susu budget already o sha na yesusu ye omu bi Women's Development Bank ye budget no ka enti enche bi ebo beti enka na eno su nya nka na ko ba bia benya bi ne ma sha se bi ana manasa su nya botere mai ye be no kakra ye be bi bia progressively
Eye Ghana mampanyi abedi akire Professor Jinana Opoku Achiman and wo share emaibo se won munya botoye mu na Women's Bank ya won mo share ho bono ebeba so
Abusua empanyi ewo kasa babuo bi won mo kansa krokoto ne nkasa krokosen edonkuma ewo man Ghana mra bedwafie ani abrese krodom ni nyina eye wonum su se abeya bomoden ama wobu nananom kokko akuafo wobu wono afaso a se won mo je omo je na enye enu nti no edom kuma dia ba beto dwa se ene na hu behi o se osofo wi sika sam nsam so ononyamfo Dr. Kiso Atofosen sa enso ena ononyamfo a wono ena eba kokobodo a won mate a wono eye jomtreni owura Randy Abi se wonum nyina ma nan tietia wonum pabo so tiawa no mepie mo man Ghana mrahye bedwa fie tiawa won meche nsem tiawa e mo man Ghana ne mrahye bedwa no nte ase sentia won metimi awe nyame animu na sebe empanyini se wanya bibia ama wase mpa ye nya mo no kro no na we de kro no we de mu oden ama wase ye no hwe enye no won mechem sentia nne won metwa akuafo haircut sa ayi won mo po na bomu taso ama ne nanan makuafo won mutiri ho airpram emoja tetete wase anya hwimpo no kade mo beto ye nanka wase no na mukura ne saa na mo ntumi nso a moje mo hwan so ama ne ayese somfidi a ehwan a ede ani brade aba won mukyema entwe yiye enti animanimu ya se nipa baanu amabo wo mudin won mo mra fi ho emekire ensem.
Minister responsible for finance had announced about policy. Being the people representative, we should be brief that the haircut that is given to the cocoa farmers, the price reduction from 3,625 to some 2,800, about 1,000 Ghana cedi being cut off. So we should be brief. So committee on the whole. So we have these three key people: our Greek minister, the minister responsible for the cocoa board, the CEO for cocoa board, so that we be properly brief on this, because we are hearing a lot of demonstration that is coming up from the cocoa farmers. They are unhappy about it. People representatives haven't been briefed. We don't know what actually is going on, so that if the minister can be summoned to brief us on the committee on the whole, because majority leader, the situation is very bad. Yesterday, a lot of people are even going to lose their life as a result of what the government did. People have lost confidence in even farming in cocoa, and people are very sick about this whole issue. It is very, very sad. And as somebody who cares, we should be able to do something with regards to this. Chairman, it is very important, because yesterday, when you hear after the minister's announcement, the reaction is very bad. And we, as representatives of the over 30 million Ghanaians, need to be properly briefed. Yesterday, we heard that some people have lost their life as a result of what this government did. So there must be a deliberate thing to be able to deliver. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I am not crying. Sabrasa and Kratui Bayano. And I'm not going to cry. I can warm who I just say one more cry every 1 month saying Yasam Kitra. Nano, what is a number of you? Where at the Trinity, Abedi, my Ghana, Mashibu, Dum Kumano, Inges Bonican said Deputy Minority Rep, Habib Idrisu, 1 year tinning Kana, Eba and buy new media outdoor anwa, my Ghana, Mashibu Jafia, said ye Inges Boni, Ekanono, government businesses, outdoor na, Ononyam from Mahama, Ayarga, one also a drum to draw candy for one no dear anymore. We are no to hear say, Pam, and what dear Casamunos, Habibi, Wokasa papa. Wase ade ba yeye na manum akuafo won mote ahesuo sode ahabadachi tietia nyanya nkyira wo wokyere ben ene apramre so na omokote ahesuo de omotitwa awia ba atodwe ekwa atakoko ba ebeton no bo mumpo huridwam sekane oba ye begoro ne bra e mampanyimfo ewofie na wo a wote nkyɛn ye asabia kusabia kronto wonim kwan ye faso de kokoo hye fom no ene wani abere yi wase aban nani abere se krodom a enhyehye ya wode agu kwa mu a wo hyehye se ne be ya kokoo ehudwadie ne ho nsam no ebefa ne ntamapa edi afra enti na nanum akuafo de won mote ase dada wo mu ehuridwam wo se akwada ya so ne drepo mahama ayarega.
Cocoa farmers have been spoken to directly by the minister, and the cocoa farmers understand the situation, and it is unpleasant. It is unpleasant, but cocoa farmers understand the situation. I listened to radio this morning. And the various leaders of the cocoa farmer associations, several of them spoke on radio and indicated that in view of the declining world market price of the commodity, they themselves as farmers know that it will be difficult to get exactly the amount that they were initially promised. And so I believe that the farmers understand, and they are also very excited about the long-term measures that government is putting in place to address systemically the challenges in the cocoa sector. I recall that in this house, time and again, we have raised the issue of cocoa roads and how that has encumbered and burdened the cocoa farmer. And as we heard the Minister of Finance yesterday, all the debt is taken away and then transferred to the Minister for Roads, and therefore Finance Ministry will pay that. And then Cocoa Board will remain, will restructure Cocoa Board and make sure that it is a more efficient and effective organization. And then we will also introduce, financing mechanisms that will allow people to buy into the cocoa sector and then finance the purchase of cocoa beans. We also have a major policy shift in the area of having a percentage of cocoa that must be processed in Ghana, and that will also tie in with job creation and then the expansion of the manufacturing sector in our
cocoa na afedi na nanu akuafote na mo hata na wa yenso ane saa ne mfamma no enkoma kwase broni no adada mu dia ye ne ma wodo de aba ene ye ne ye be dada mu ne ye bi wo hono ma eno kra no betimi di nwuma e de aba leader of government businesses wono kra ene sa eye edomdodo no ekandifo onmonyamfo Mahama Ayarega
Cocoa Board abo amane se efiti sabri eko wo mu betu anamo bia wabehwe se de beye katwitwidi ya na ababeda won mo so na enam so amananam akuafo nso akoye kadibo se won mo di kokoo ne konese ye kari wi a yenya kapreba emfama won mo nyina no behwe na watumi ede atwetwa saa eka no na Dr. Randy Abe wono ani chief executive officer oda Cocoa Board ano ene ne duai wode sansemi tu dwa wo chese cabinet won mo ko asetena no ejina bia won mo asi eyese abre bia no ya na kokoo no eka eda ho agese wototo wie na wode akotete saa eka no pese saa de no etumi efiri ho no mo eko enu nti won mo betu anamon se de be ya obetumi atuatua saa ka ni nyina ede efiri no wode nsemi tu dwa no na ene ensentwerofo binom akore nanso akobisa ne de eko ewo kokoo atena ni mu enu ne nanso a wode saa ensemi tu dwa no wo se wo ba office ho no obeto eniema mienu ana wase wade ye adwuma de edi kan ene se kokoo ni bi kura wo ho a na sika ne yedi awie na so kokoo no yenya emfa enkoye ebi nso kura na nchen akuafo no yato ade afiri won mu nsam na nso sika edi betua no anu nso na ebi eni honom anu nti kwa be na befa so a na se sika ni nyina betumi atuatua o se anu nti ana ma ho ko hia ya na ewo se cabinet akukudam no won mo tenase na wosi nkonyo won se de be ya obehu asem baby a wode ebetwene na wose sere yakọ yanim se oman no yentimi ntonkoso nya de ye na ne yenya mfaso pa emfa mfiri mu anye sa abre bia de yehu ya bi ene beto ye na kanen hye ya ne da ho a wono pese oye nsakire de tie ene se ekobase kokoo bre no eso a wono wa no ne ya wohia kokoo no womo ni sika ebre enyumaku ahodo a womukita tumi krata a wode to kokoo ma ne ye no na womo ato kokoo no ede ama Cocoa Board anu nti eba ne saa na eka ba beda ho a saa kokoo na woto no a ana adi tuatua saa eka na koba ne se ya adwumako na wode sika eframa no ne ba no se woye na adwen se won so asene mu biewu a ene ewunya sika ana adi akoto eno na Dr. Randy Abe epese wo kire se won beso mu ye ensakiraye ewo saa eniema ni mu na atumi aboa ama omai Ghana ye kwan pa ye di sika sem efa kokoo ho no ebetimi afaso ensem bia odi tudwa enie.
Cocoa Board then projected a crop output of 800,000 tons. And on the basis of this output, as the cocoa marketing 324 season, Cocoa Board then projected a crop output of 800,000 tons. And on the basis of this output, as the cocoa marketing company to sign contracts to the tune of 786,000 tons. For the first time in the history of the syndicated loan, so 23-24 will be year 32. In July of that year, specifically 22nd of July, the then chief executive of Cocoa Board wrote to the Ministry of Finance to ask for bridge financing of $70 million Otherwise, Cocoa Board was going to default on the repayment of the syndicated loan, which was due end of July. 22nd of July 2024 was when that letter was written. So the Ministry of Finance then, in a letter 24th of July, confirmed the release of this money to Cocoa Board and asked Cocoa Board to pay the money by end of August 2024. In fact, in a letter written by Cocoa Board had indicated that it will use the cocoa receipts that were coming in to pay the money. But because he didn't want to default, he needed a bridge financing from the Ministry of Finance. So that 70 million which was released by the Ministry of Finance was what Cocoa Board used to pay that money at the end of July to avoid a default. So to avoid the default, went to Finance Ministry, took the $70 million and was supposed to pay by the end of August. End of August came, Cocoa Board defaulted in paying the money to the Ministry of Finance. This money, 70 million bridge financing for the 23-24 season, is part of the debt that we've inherited. So it wasn't paid until we came into office. Now, so that is one thing that happened for 23-24. The second thing that happened was that Cocoa Board could not supply 333,767 tons of the 786,000 contracts that it had signed and used that as a collateral. And these contracts were sold at or signed at an average of $2,661 per ton. So you clearly could see.
Dr. Randy Abe, no any chief executive officer at the Cocoa Board, and what this answer to you.
And then, Fiada and Tiano Muslimi for Echo Mox, Echo Hotoye, Allahu Akbar, Muslim Lai Wai, El Bompire Edema, which ready and Pontegrafa Motons, you know, boy, or Wabediasa, now Oja by and Numuna Franketini, Adaman Pipi Amanu, Dr. Alhaji, Mahamud Bomiako Pio, what they are to Ghana, Mampany, John Dramani, Mamma, Nimsem Prempredie. Ye also man ani ku na ekosopa no se wode amemuopa ebekumo men de wakan sa political attention wo kiremu a ese na manyoku a eni nafa no o haha nani ede kiremu ni pa ye MPP for machiwe no wo se braso se wo se wode wosiwieye edi sie sanse o men ayo man a enim se ye nka bomu man maye nkoye se ye wokuo bi ewo ho ene ye wokuo bi won ma wo mo de ye wo mo ntete no eye sonko.
Like to also use this sacred moment to appeal respectfully, and firmly to the government of the day. Ghana has been through a lot. Our people are still under lots of pressure. This is not the time for retribution, intimidation, or settling of political scores. It is the time to lower the temperature, heal the nation, and govern in a way that reassures every Ghanaian that they are safe, respected, valued, regardless of how they voted. Ghana is bigger than any party. Our democracy must never be reduced to vengeance. There is work to be done, serious work, the kind of work that requires patience, listening, learning, and showing up even when the applause is absent. The kind of work that places country before comfort and duty before ego. I pledge my full commitment to this task, not alone, but together with you, together with every committed party member, every volunteer, every youth organizer, every women's leader, every elder who still believes that Ghana can be better.
Franketuni Vichampi Mionu ni aduonu watwe abatu de ma NPP amanyuko enkane Ghana mampenya be de Dr. Alhaji Mahamud Baumia
kane omei atoye etifi from opanyina na wono ene ye swafo a wo hye sa mantam no eso ana ode ato edwasese ekobase owura Kennedy ohene Japan wotene ho ade free NPP amanyuko ni mu a anya de se enu ya de papa a wese okodi so se o bo makoto aba wa anim kunim bum se franka ekurafo anu nti watene ho na opanyina ode science metu dwa na oka Owia Kennedy ohene Japan ne campaign team ne ho Jojo Rocky Oben na wo chirechire mu se wo share MPP amanyuko na obi a awona nisu adehunu na Ken na nisu adehunu baako ene se enka emfimpi no ene adonum otwenko ade enka MPP amanyuko no ade franka be kura no se de be ya wono ebekwa akwaji tumi ete ama amanyuko nenso won koto aba ewie ni wadi entwo ewom ne no ene nipa bi atitiri pa nanka wono de wo pene so se Ken ena nka eni amanyuko no animu wono mo ekeka se Ken ete ne ho a ebeboa pa esanse obetumi abaye nipa wotoso miensa ene Ghana amanyose mu akoye se MPP NDC no betumi awoso na de kan se third force no na anya bi kura watumi ababedi mampanyin na saa asemi ho ana Owia Jojo Oben atro ensam ede afa ho ewo Facebook na nemu na wo kire se wote wo ho afri amanyuko MPP mu da bi ano enya namo a ewo se utu de berada wo se ewo mu se nanka Owia Ken wani suade hunu de nanso se wo hwe ebre ene mpremprenti bi ewo mu ya anya de se wote ne ho a ebeboa de berada na osesa wo hwe o me amanyosem ane abakwase mu a obia ni ho a obetumi ate ne ho afri NPP anase NDC amanyuko nim na obetumi abedi mampanyin de berada aje se anya bia no sa amanyuko no wunya ho ede tuchiri wo mansana mampanyinu bedi bia ye no nti wan de nsusuye mu no wonu se Kennedy ohene Japan ewo mu se na wo se ni suade hunu de nanso no se otene ho se wokotena amanyuko na wode abe third force wa na de se obetumi ede aba amam de berada na wo se wo no koto aba no MPP amanyuko no mo kansem pi na ede fa wo ho akonwa ene beto ye na wo no pre ne franka kurafo a wono wodi nkunim wo mu kura enim se amanyuko ne sabi o matiti fin de ya wo ho a awoso otu horohoro wono fie kama emo wo ho ye fe ansa na mfimpi no ene adunu wotwe abato no aduru ho enti Owia Jojo Rocky Oben ade afutuo ama Owia Kennedy ohene Japan enne chitafo a wono kire se wonte ne ho emfri amanyuko se enya de a ebeboa
Awusefo yentroso na yemfama ne yemfa na ase emfama nyumaku a wono aso yase ne ade kase yi ebramo enanwumri emopafie tutumika nafa wani echiremu wo hono na enema enkonkan awie ne nuaba adwanya akode afuturo bi koi pa wo kwa akotena baabi na woba wama bapai akwakoje akonfam wowia wagensa bia hu tim fifire de agupono so watena se atwa wanum owura kura fisa wo ma wo fie owura fisa ade be chi 15th no so be die bomode amopafie yi ene ebre wode ne ho abayi bomode a na wonfa wonko enema da fompa ubenya premium anase super premium rice no na wonya bi na de edenie wonya jambi soya oil no soya bean oil no wode aka ho wuria osebra wunwie ye ne sese ayi asensan abode wo so yomi tomato paste enso wa hanmo fa ni gina ho na gin nsu bi na fa ka ho wuria da wani wode anya hwe no ma ne nkopra akokofo so fa dampam ni bi na onfa nka ho kofie na kotena sinya abotre na de chemu akuakuakuaku na ka frafra na fa ye mo na mo no se wode ye jollof se wode ye fried rice se wode ye mutuo ana se wode eye anwamu emu bia opese wode ye bia no akwanya da ho a obetumi di aye amana ye fe aye kama ebomode yi 11 na se de omosi aye no no so no ya ne boa mo franso pa mo madwene ye sharp e mo mutimi sua de ti ma me papa enne weekend utuka no de afiri wode akono fo ani chiremu ewo edum wo mo office ba ko wo no eben oyepa FM sa enso na patase omni achemfo hotel edi nhwanimu emare visa Pass and Gardens junction wonso no wonsa ebeka emopafie na kotobi na fakofie na enye akono ewo honomo obetumi afren ewo 0244615117 0244615117 na ne empanyimfo edi inkita ho Dwabin Rural Bank sika samu dwadie wo mugina brane wo mu yo simpitim prim fa ho kobo wono mo na niema entimi enkonkan emfa emau savings account current account fixed deposit microfinance susu medachi enti wo pe shares ne ade ni nyina akọ ene wo mu nkosi nkonnwa ne ekeke ka ho wo mu ncheche mu na te ase yie pa ema remfi se obatampalo no ewo honma ye de eboa pa ye nuano ma amudi dwa na edru babia na ahokyera ba na sika no hu so ene ade a eno ntu pe bibi kakra na ade abọ hu so apagya mu na wakọ no eyo ba asampa loan kọ na ne wo mu nkotrase wacha sima kakra bi na wonsa aka obesia ewo asampa loan eno de edi no kra ene ne honam se eya asampa sanse etoda na ye mputupuru unye sika bi e wosa wode kọ na asampa no wote na wote ni yi na nso kofa ne hene na ye hwebu ada wode wani chemu odwabi rural bank a wo mo asampa loan wo mo no betena se na mputupuru mu na no wo mo aboa wode akohyem na aboa ama odwumadie na timi akanya no ama eniema atimi akonkan atonso dwane mu a yabebie aseye no foforo ewo honomo mare mfise dwaben onwe fumasua saaso na adeseman sepetimpo bonwe Roman Hill na afeye New Road pankro no abosonso wonsa ebekanyen ewo honomo fayen ewo 0544745856 0544745856 and 0271464327 nene mpanyimfo eni enkomo ewo ehonom ewe yensa ento ansem no so na yemfa emmamo asante mantem soafo eye obrempon Frank Amoakohene wono eno ya asante mantem soafo na enei enenam mframam a ye kekeka yesi ni ade a emumfo nyina etwagu ekwan a aban krache mpanyimfo bietimi afaso na won mu ebutimamufo faso wo dream die katashe prani kankan a wo mo faso ejeje to ba bi wo kra ne ni kwasa wo mo kọ ekwaje to a won mo ye wonsam abetodwa eno nam sae no so ama asantemantem soafo abomoden akekeka eye aban krache mpanyimfo a wo mo asantemantem hanmo abobom no do makwa kopiemiche Metropolitan and Municipal and District Chief Executives wo mo abomu ama wo de nhihye foforo kra edi akwa kogu fom a won mo cheche ntitiru ba bi etu fom agudie enuanom ne ade ene anuanom ne ade a ya na wo mo kokogye ho to ene ho sika bi ene ade ekwan foforo mbefa so no mo tu sa na mon ne betu ebeye yie pa owura Dr. Frank Amoakohene achirim
ene enyumanuma omo tax wo mo especially eba illegal miners a omo tax wo mo a nti eba ye nam say join news na ye sa we no mo the petition ba my president committee omo hwehwem subsequent to that who say ekati across some of the districts independent say the bia ba bontin no we need to regulate whatever is happening before any further harm is caused nti the edika say yakatro me say local government act provide guidelines for fee fixing assemblies now making sure say omo fee fixing no would be in line with local government act and fa won say emra no beto ye and I new make sure say and instructor won say obia fee fixing gazette bia o maye bia no omo famra houses ni enhwem make sure say indeed if it conforms with local government provisions na ebi o mi asaka sure mo say obia wo levy no ewo district bia no making sure say the person is engaged in legal business and now a legally registered entity because the who is so more quarries no also we use heavy equipment and there or more sound winning so almost use heavy equipment and there and to where these districts so are similar stickers or ha omodigi revenue yemfa won say bia by that be na be share samra no yes reset into reset the journey say I was here ready or that than here where the amwa ye bia nyefa hu yechi and beyond illegal miners or more yes and winning so say asase or more blasting illegally quarries no so say environment the catch omo say nipa na engage in mine inquiry and sand winning na making sure say our EPA permits or on licenses and say na wo assembly no we be engage no bia class on tua anything na why engage no nyesa wo pesika nti no na we jai stickers na ekosa and that is the second thing the catch timamufo so say woni akro before so we call assembly we say we call na wakwaje any of the stickers no provide business registration certificate o licenses no permits therefore one san o magina no so dey dey issue certificates dey and stickers dey the amount and these are the directives they are communicated them all the MMD say or more implementing pen is the president my further directives on what to do. So basically these are the
Jumedi Echo so our Prempe Assembly Hall. Now I'm so and I'm so ama one more ati abedwapobia wombedi Jumedi Sonkokra one more from our district special planning committee afei one more technical subcommittee wombedi wombedi ni nyina and so ombobo body no mahwe ama entotie ne niamapa enso etimi akonkan ewo ho yewra Frank Amoakohene ebra wodane dwumadie de hye ho nsa emra amamre ne amane kwa so no eno nso wo kirem
Boso 4 years bia no mo 10 ende emye the new team ba ntia no na ya inaugurate o mo ha no omadwuma passport ye se nkombe se obi nkosi dan fancy kata so ana ba bia friend Ramsey site ye nsuo bank se de adin na nkofo enko development o ba den no ye hu nti nsuo to ana flood na si ni nyina ye committee way especially o muntimi nyina o manamo so enye o madwuma yie no because o na nke ma permits and making sure a new building be able no or more a year in line with developmental a year planning of the assembly. It's my charge woman. Some among Quaban, 2 on for whom Koyajman. Omunya could do find money to me from war, especially new developments that spring up now. As we move copy old ones, Tetiana Yena, Emma flooding. The same thing that new areas no so the air copy. It's my catch them. Yemba say, what do you see? What shed them when I have a bedroom be a sea moon to do. A can ya ball cana Yadato with your force. And from the onset, no making sure so permits to be secured. A biome, we are brand here, we are businessman, we are Timamuni, when a sicapes or this die. Making sure to work assembly or mamma permits. Unless I would open call, not permit to be anymore. No go do time, save your munis and your manner. A idea higher be the committee will know. Or much money idea about Buama as it were. The arrangement within the city urban area now at Nababe. Kamantiano neighbor commission ya did Madinasi Omana so Monkonomkoya Jumapa and from my medasi.
Asante mantenso for no nyam for Frank Amoakohene ne yetini nkano.
Titreni Edema National Democratic Congress Michelle DC Amanyukori Ura Johnson Esidu Nketia na ode enase emuntu abono akopiem wo mfimfini mantemu a woni omanfo awon mu wo ejumako ane ne mpotemu akohia na no ode ato won mu animu se enye obia na sebio wobenya appointment ewa ban we ya breso se bi okoyeso afo anase chief executive officer sanse andi samanyukoni she Ghana fo bo se won mu ba onfa asoafo bebre se de nanando danko akufu ado wodi nipa beso ha adurunum eye asoafo na duosia pe ena won mu de ye adwuma no ntisi obi anya bia onte ne ho ase sanse amanyuko no won mbo hye ne agina wosi yeso ena won mu edi Owura Johnson Esidu Nketia
ye manifesto no che ne mu na ka se akufu ado ministers no do so do mwanka bi wa wanka bi tafre wa ba cha de rese wanka bi ana mu nyina si a ne ka se ye koye campaign na President Mahama uwini a minister for no te so many mfiri 125 na yam point 60 pe meboa samukan na ye che 125 na wanya bia ye che sister e na obenya eno ti se wanya bia e won so bo nkobo President Mahama meboa ye ne ani aye sa ansise no ene e di ama no na wo di so eno ti di a che ne se DC for me na metra badwom eye DC for a wo Ghana nyina interview ene eyiyi wo mo e di list by na butu bi wo ha another city bi wo ha nipa be say 20 na ye pre akonya baako uyi baako de manual 19 nu nyina na wo mobu afu mebo a enti baako a yayi no a 19 nu bu afu no eno ti na menam se esese ye ne mo bedi nkita ho ne akirekire kwaye fa so appointed DC for
Owura Esidu Nketia sanso de anoba emoman na wo ejuma ko therefore achi na otoso nwotwe ese wosre empuntu 29 DC manyuku no abantitri ne won makwan a eda empotem won mu oka ho asa obehwe na watumi ayede ama won
ya wa ogwa nyina ayi e kwai no so ana kwai ase no dos enti ya di ase ehise bi a ye friend big push na ebi asa ase wo mo kwa kakra na next face asase next phase so asase enti nana ekumfi anye oman ketua sade abako sapchira se oman mu vice president mienu afri ha ama president abeka ho no digidi se ejira ba bia ne ekumfi din pre wo mo chefa ewo mpuntu obu aba enye tema enu nti nana meko na de waka no meko na makodi ho tuma de atoso wenza echato a enti me bae enu se adwuma ya be afi baako na afi baako kakra
Owia Johnson Esidu Nketia wono ene yetitani Ediman National Democratic Congress no de sansemi etuja
Ghana Airport Company Limited one more ehyaso ye omo ehwe asenkobedie ho ensem na asoye ne panyi abedie kire eye ononyamfo dokas afi tofi afo tofi na wode nsem ede atodwa abra okosa womo na wase womo bo ase womo komodin se Ghana wiemse gina bia na ewo nsase ya enne abefo kwan a betumi afaso sakra omodada womo ho aye niema ebetimi ede mpuntunwuma aba na abrekro na asatimi di enyuma ba akacha mo se eya banani suade hunu se obetu na mo na mmoa bi ese efata bia no nso no wode aboa wo mu.
Government vision is to position Ghana as an aviation hub in the West African sub-region with Kotoka International Airport as the destination of choice for travelers. And as a ministry, we will continue to support the expansion and improvement of airport infrastructure across the country to facilitate
Ampanyimfo a wono mo eda no no woda wo mase ene ade a na ne nyina mu no okokopie mu a even nana afie opare wono nso na we managing director ewo Ghana Airport Company Limited wono nso den nsem sei ene to opanyini enim enwuma a wono mo eye womo no mo ye adwuma ene kura apagya mu ekwa animu ene ho nsem a eno nso ochire mu sei.
You take the lift upstairs, there'll be restaurants you can eat. If you want to go to departures after you finished eating, then you just walk across the street to departures of Terminal 2 and then you go. So there's a renovation that's going to happen here too. The total projects will be completed for Terminal 2. The total project should be completed by mid-year this year, which is a few months from now.
Ivonana FE Opale Ghana Airport Company Limited. Mrs. Opale. Yeah, na Ivonana FE Opare. Na asem me wo form hanmo.
Agrobi anema ni dimi foshi ya.
Opale.
Na NPP amanjuko church for penny eye Owia Kodua Frimpong Justin na wono ena sebisa komane se anye bia NPP amanjuko no woni sade unu semra shibedwafie akanifo sisia openya oda wono ma no eye futu abato mpesi semra shibedwani Owia Alexander kwame na afenyo Mike ombe nsachiraye ewo wono makani enimu ana eno na Owia Justin Frimpong Kodua chese debi ensachire bia eni honum na besi sabredie wonum ani so adwuma Owia afenyo makin ene nkaye no wonum eye.
And I don't see and why at this point the party want to change the leadership in parliament. For what reason? So it's something that has not come to on the table. Is overwhelmingly satisfied because we know the work that the mighty minority under the leadership of Afenyo Makin have been doing. And certainly we will continue to give them all the needed support for them to be able to continue to perform their job. But we are impressed. We are very impressed. We are very elated about the work that they have been doing as a minority group.
Koko nsemwa abanso Owia Justin Frimpong Kodua adina no atumbi no woche se NPP amanyoko ba banmu na akuafo titiri ni koko akuafo iso modo munsa esre ha no modim se bro mofuru so anigye nko a mo anti koko so da nanso aban we baye wafa apaso ne kafefe ayi akuafo tiri mu se pei
under our tenure, we never shortchange farmers. And that's the difference. So whatever explanation or whatever roadmap that you have, it should not be done at the detriment of the cocoa farmer. And that's the difference. So the NDC government, they can come out with their roadmap, whatever excuses that they want to give. But at the end of the day, they should not shortchange the cocoa farmer.
Ghana Medical Trust Fund photo ya uyaba womo edisika etumu ani nyina ene se womo de beboa amomen apomden ho nsem etimi agya namoso na me no ekasei opepepem mienu echipon kono 2.9 billion Ghana cedis ena eyesika ababe wuramu enam sai no so ama Dr. Mark Kurt Nawani wono ye jomtani okọ man Ghana mrahye bedwafia abedwako a wono hwa apomden nsem so ede atodwa sesebi sesi Kenya de omode ko bocha skele anase omode ko ye niema bia enne botaye a omode bo fotu yi eni ahia wono hwe na omode abomode ede awura ayarehwe ene ayaresabia mu sene ebe ya eniema betumi akọ enkan.
The Ghana Medical Trust Fund, with a total allocation of 2.9 billion, is expected to carry out a lot of activities. But let me mention the three leading ones. One, to pay for claims, which is taking 1.6 billion, to pay for infrastructure and equipment, which is taking 975 million Ghana cedis, and of course, specialist medical training, which is taking 44.2 billion Ghana cedis. And you realize that if you have a hospital and you don't have the specialist, it's always difficult for them to carry out their mandate. And so I'm not surprised that this fund, part of it, is going to be used to train medical specialists, doctor specialists. And we also have hospitals, like the regional hospitals which have been accredited. Majority of them do not have MRI, CT scans, and other equipment. And so we expect that part of this fund, as part of the retooling process, should be used to equip them so that they can also carry out their mandate.
Dr. Mark Kurt Nawani awe jomtani ema bedwako wo man Ghana mrahye bedwafia wo hwe apomden nsem so ene etini ken wo wie ne krakra no ene wodi tudwa se etoda ayasa bia bebekwa kopiem yes oh na empakra ni wono de da fom ni ade no wo se eya na ye nkitahudi a ayasa bia wono ya na enhyeda enkoye ne nyina brane ene netimi de ba afeye nso no busuakuo bi wono ma bia beba na yese wo kwa ayasa bia wono makohwere wo de hye ko fa so hwere no kra na ntiase nimi ye de ayasa bia na ekokoto ni ade no eno nso wasiginaye amwakasa ede afa hu.
You are a human being, or you carried your relative to the place, and if you are not satisfied with anything, I think you should be able to pursue it. Yes, you should be able to pursue it. The Medical and Dental Council are there to ensure that we provide quality health services. We have got HEFRA, the Health Facilities Regulatory Authority. We have got even the NHIA is interested in these matters. So all these bodies are there to ensure that, yes, you can make a formal complaint to them, and I believe that they will be able to do so. Of course, the last but not the least is the cost of land, because it's about the human being. The no-birth syndrome is a phenomenon that sometimes I find it difficult to understand, especially when it is an emergency. Because when it's an emergency, we expect that you stabilize the person first before, even if you need to refer, you do so. But now I must say that there are so many hospitals in the country. Even the specialist hospitals in Accra are not that small. What I am thinking is that there's a lack of communication between hospitals. Because if you go to the first hospital and there's no bed, they should be able to inform you that there is a bed in this particular hospital, but we do not have. If we can network our systems, if you go to this hospital and there's no bed, they should be able to inform you that go here, there are beds. But it appears every hospital is operating like an island.
Nawani wono ena ko my Ghana na hye jefia abejo ko hwe apom din sem so wo yedwum trani
adwumako a wono mo ena hwe ebodawru ene bra ede efa omai HIV/AIDS babasremfo yade ne ho no ana wono mo kyerese ene eyeda wiase afa na nyina etu adisi ho a taduamu bo ha yede ehye ho fa enti World Condom Day ena esie anu nti wo mo nso be hwe na oman na fane ye de ho agimu pa nti egusu ye kasai ongusu ni namu amo cheche taduamu boha ni bia na ye si wiase afa na nyina afi bia won mudi na nso Ghana ye hyedanfo ye ho nhyimu sa ne ehu akohia won mo cheche condom no ebi na Dr. Prosper Akandon ono ena okọ Ghana AIDS Commission ni mu a oye Director General ediano no wo kire se nei HIV/AIDS babasremfo ya de no ama ne ho minisu ye papa no nti ana ama ho akohia se oman no ye befa na nibere so na yetumi a cheche tedua mu bo ha ibi se de be ye omanfo edi mpema katuma kapen no won betumi nya bi na won mo ahye de abobo ho ban na nka ye nimi se enka Thursday ba ye kine se no enka eye chocolate ene ye de che na so ye de ya nkofo ya omadwen se ade no anye chocolate ni no mbedi na emumu no won bedi ade foforo de ahye na mu enti ye kasa yi omo beta paso de adwaso dada no tese o ma pepa ho abobo pada ade ato a wo mo de twen e kina evazi enu obi na dwen se ne virginity ne nyede ya obebriki tese wo no de wo ye ne den obeya no nti yeguso ehwese yensa ebetumi aka owura NS amoaben osin wono enase oba o my Ghana mo ye president of that Ghana HIV and AIDS network no ano ne di nkomo ne yabisa se wofa afibia so a cheche condom ya se ba be ya de bi eda honom enso AC kwa na ekosoro ti condom ne bra papa mu ne eboni ni AC no ye pamo no anase ye dey covid ba ye wabaje mu nyam woko AC wuda so te de wote ho ye dey o se nka akone nka adasama ho atoye
nse de ebemu anya eye adwamambo nti se wugya adwamammo de a se ebeyu ko enu titru no enu na de bapa waje ase nti wo wadwa de so ana
me oh me de se me baby amenam ana menam o twen se wo hu adukrum no oda
odefo ade nso ye mfa ncheche
se ye be ye yi anye nye se ye yi ba ne ye be ye yi
oye wayi dada
ye be ye yi dada
poye me
ntwen bru nyansa na yare nkoko what is so special abuzia ye jira to de anyumre kaze bodi nyina asi e wo hadu tie edifro Owia TV so de sanso enam animu tintan fidie ne so Facebook a Owia TV official YouTube Owia TV official brevi bodia na ubedi echi kama oko www.owiatv.online.com ansem ni ahoflopi na aguso ho a betumi nya bi na wakenkan and asem common newsroom aboafo kuku ajando akosu asomu akọ MCR papa ni ena afi Mr President ena nanaya wonom ena piepia niema ho kama ema yitumide kasieboi eba esamufo eye Benedict Asante Yeboa akenkanfo a moti ye ne eye me nana Kwame Achman Opambo miniminu abema
abusia pani owusu adiomi
ene na ye sorry hyene so se na ye fiada nti agokansie mu nsem
enya asem keto akra
brighto
obetenase odo panyi bi frigi efi a wode ne eba so e ma revi se kwasi adan so house of ene kotoko
super clash
ai
se clash ne me kan se mtombo
nyesa abende
meka crash
yenko
nti abusia fancy na agokansie mu nsem nto aso